everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having a great start to the year. Hope that you are having an unbelievable day. I want to stop in on you. Earlier this morning, I stopped in and I shared with everybody something that I was doing that I thought was special for those people who wanted to work with me on a prolonged basis. I offered my bronze package with a 50% rebate upon completion, meaning that if you signed up for it, you would work with me for 12 weeks. And at the end of 12 weeks, you had the choice of either um taking the 50% rebate and extending another 12 weeks, or you could cash it in for cash, meaning that you would end up only paying half price for the 12-week session. That's still going on to the end of the day. But the reason I'm here now is I want to talk to you about the Battle for the Mind event. There were a bunch of people that chimed in on that video this morning that was saying, man, they want to try to get their money right. They want to try to get with me. And I see that a lot. And unfortunately, by the time that rolls around, that price isn't there anymore. Or I've booked up for the year or for the month or for the next 6 months. And the opportunity is missed. And I love working with people. I love helping people. And so I immediately said, okay, what can I do for people who don't have $29.97, even though they're going to get 50% of that back? And even though I know it's worth way more than that, what can I do? And what I decided is that, what's the date I decided on? The Saturday the 14th of this month, I am going to do a live webinar event, the Battle for the Mind. This isn't just something where we're going to sit around and we're going to talk and have an emotional engagement. This is a step-by-step process where I'm going to introduce you to the process, 5 steps that you're going to take, that you're going to initiate change in your life. We're going to engage some things. Here are some things that we're going to do. We're going to do five particular principles and elements that are absolutely necessary. We're going to talk about internal assessment. I'm going to talk to you, tell you, and show you how to carry out an internal assessment. We're going to talk about the negative impact of procrastination. Procrastination is literally the thief of time and opportunity. We're going to talk about vision and clarity. The clearer the vision, the more it imprints. The more it imprints, the more of an emotional impact it has. The more of an emotional impact it has, the more it can push and carry you. We're going to talk about the psychology of success, what you feel and think about life, how you move and how you process information is massively important to whether or not you succeed in life. And finally, we're going to talk about your personal winner's plan and strategy. So here's what it looks like. I want you to really get an understanding of what's going to go on. This isn't just some 30-minute, 45-minute, hour event. We're going to do an hour and a half where I'm going to go over all of these things with you. Then I'm going to spend another hour with you answering your questions specific to your dream, specific to your vision, specific to the struggles you're having, the challenges you're meeting, and why you're meeting them. We're going to answer questions. We're going to get to breakthroughs. We're going to get change initiated. I want to show you just how important your mind is to winning. You don't need all the pieces to win. You need to get started to win. Most people are sitting around waiting on the perfect timing. Most people sit around waiting on the perfect opportunity. None of that stuff exists. I'm going to tell you right now. What's required is for you to have a clarity of vision, a commitment that won't let you relent, and a sense of focus and identity. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, first of all, internal assessment. What's that look like? What's driving your behavior right now? What's driving your behavior and choices? Because it's your behavior, your choices, and your thinking that's leading to your results, primarily. It always is. And even with people who have experienced success, I'm in a process now where I've stepped back and started reviewing some things because I know I should be moving faster. And so it's always that type of thing. I'm going to show you how to do that. But so what's driving it? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it uncertainty? Is it family history? All these things are going to influence how you think, how you move, and how you think and how you move is going to determine the breadth of it. Okay, what's next? Are you guarding your gates? What type of music are you listening to? What type of television programs are you watching? What other stimuli are you allowing into your gates? If you don't guard your gates, you're open to anything that flows through. And what I can tell you is the world is full of negativity. The world is full of people who can tell you why you failed. The world is full of ideas and suggestions that the sky is falling. But the world is also full of people who will tell you, I don't care where you come from, you can make it. The world is full of people who tell you, this is what happened to me, but look at where I'm at now. You've got to have the mindset that searches for it, but you got to guard your gates. You're being programmed to either win or lose. You're being programmed to either positive or negative. You're being programmed every day. The thing is, you get to control the programming by controlling what goes in your gates. We're going to talk about the importance of that. And I'm going to show you some practices for guarding your gates, but also the power of programming, how you can put your mind in your brain in a state of theta so that it downloads easily without the restrictions of doubts, fears, past experiences. There's a way to do that. I teach my clients how to do that. Like I said, I would love to work with you on a one-on-one basis, but for those of you who can't, this is going to be dynamite. This is going to be 2.5 hours of nothing but pure power. Okay, then we're going to talk about battling procrastination. Procrastination, as I said earlier, is the thief of time and opportunity. What's driving your proclivity to procrastinate? People procrastinate for different reasons. Some people procrastinate because of the fear of what somebody's going to say. Some people procrastinate for the fear of failure. Some people are natural worriers, so they're always looking for what's wrong and they never take the first step. Some people procrastinate because they are perfectionists. They're looking for every little thing to fall into place, and they don't understand that that's not how this puzzle works. This puzzle works by you got to take the pieces you have and you got to put what you have together, and then you move to the next stage and you find the other pieces. That's how you move in this life. That's how you get on in this life. Waiting for all the pieces to come will leave you right where you are, and that's why so many people are stagnant. So many people are sitting around and not winning because they're waiting on all of the things to fall in line. That's not how you win. That's not how you get on. You sit up and say, you know what, I'm starting today. All I have is this. I don't have a personal trainer, but I'm going to the gym. I don't have a gym membership, but I'm going to the track. I never worked out in my life, but I can walk. Somewhere you have to start. I've never had a surplus in my bank account, but today I'm going to put $2 in the savings. I've never invested in my life, but today I'm going to go on Cash App and look at the fact that they allow me to buy stock. I'm going to buy my first dollar worth of stock in whatever that is. And then that's how you get started. It's one step at a time. You build something one step at a time. Most people are looking for the quantum leap. Most people are looking for this astronomical transformation or transporting into something new. No, you build this every day by how you think, by how you move, by how you operate. You got to stop procrastination. The next big issue I run into when I meet people is vision clarity. How clear is your vision? Can you sit down and define it? Can you articulate it with great clarity? Somebody sits down with me, I can literally talk for an hour straight about my vision in clarity, in detail, where I'm going to be, what I want. And the thing is, I may be off on the dates, but I'm not off on the destination. Let me say that again. I may be off on the date, but I'm never off on the destination. I've been off on the date a lot. Why? Because I strive and I stretch and I reach, but I'm never off on the destination. Everything I've ever set myself to hit in this life, I've hit it. It's often took me longer than I expected because I reach high. But what I'm telling you is that if you set vision with clarity, that's why vision boards are so important. We're going to have a whole section on vision boards. We're going to talk about why vision boards work. We're going to talk about why clarity of vision works. Where there's no vision, the people perish. There's a reason. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Let me tell you, where there's no vision, the people literally start to become sick. Why I said a dream deferred makes the heart sick. So if I can have a dream but not have a vision. What do you mean? I can have a desire. I can have this understanding. I want something. But the vision is the connectivity, the pathway, the intricacies of what makes the dream come true. Visions and dreams. You've got to understand that the dream, he says, write the vision and make it plain. Why? Because the plainer the vision, the more clear the vision, the more simple and it is and easy it is to understand the direction. A lot of people are grinding in the wrong direction and don't realize it. They just out there and somebody said, work your ass off, get up at 3 o'clock and grind until 12. And they're doing it and they're working themselves into an early grave. Other people have just sit down and set their dream to the side. They've just decided, but the hope deferred makes the heart sick. Let me tell you what, some of you are slowly committing spiritual suicide. What do I mean? You're waking up every day and you're going to a job that you hate. Let me tell you something. Anything that draws hate out of you is leaking toxicity into your very DNA, into your spirit, into your soul, into your mind. And every day you wake up and go to this job, you're taking a piece of your life. You're shortening your life by getting up and going to a job you hate. This isn't about whether you have a job or have a business. This is about being in a space where you are fulfilled, where you're guarding. Nothing in this life requires you to sacrifice your peace in order to have it. That includes your bills being paid. That includes the vacation type of life you have, wherever you want to be. If you want this astronomical life, you never have to sacrifice your peace. What you have to do is have a vision. What you have to do is have a plan. What you got to be willing to do is step out of what everybody else is doing. A lot of your suffering is trying to live life on somebody else's standards, somebody else's rules, somebody else's idea of what is. And you're out there trying to do it and you don't understand it. It's not about where you're at. I've started over before. In many ways, I'm starting over in life now. I'm leaving something and I'm moving into something else. But what I won't do is sit around and get so caught up in what's behind me that I can't see what's in front of me, that I can't get excited about it, because it's in the excitement that the drive comes, the passion comes. What I'm trying to get you to understand, those vision boards will open up things to you, let you see things, let you make things become more clear. The clearer the vision, the more impressionable it becomes. See, the whole thing, the whole idea is God designed us in this unbelievable way so that we manifest things and create things through our minds that we've never experienced before. It's the way that we are able to elevate out of something. That's why you're never born into your future reality. You're born into an environment. That's not your future reality. You determine that by how you think, by how you move, but you got to expose yourself to people who think like that. Let me explain it a different way. God designed your mind to be to not be able to distinguish between what's being imagined and what's being real. We have been so snatched out of our imagination, and we even do it to our children. That's why I tell my clients, stop squashing and crushing your children's imagination and find a way to discover your own. Do you remember we played kids? We run around with sticks pretending they were guns. Nobody could ever tell us that wasn't a play gun. It wasn't a real gun. It was nothing but a stick. Nobody could tell us that that broom we were on wasn't a horse. Nobody could tell us, though. Nobody could tell our little sisters and big sisters over there that those pies that they were making wasn't nothing but mud. Can you imagine some of the things we used to imagine, and we get into that world and you couldn't tell us we weren't there? God built us to be that way. But what happened? We sit up and say, as soon as we start getting close to school age, what happened? Get your head out the clouds. Stop daydreaming. Boy, be realistic. Ain't nobody you're not going to ever do that. Next thing you know, you're talking a kid out of his vision. You're talking him out of his dream. You're talking him out of something that sets him apart from the rest of the world. He was never meant to fit in. She was meant to be set apart. Now, what I'm trying to get you to understand is you got to go into that same mindset. God designed the imagination to be so powerful that the brain thinks it's real. Why? Because what happens is when you have a bad experience, all you can consult in your past is the bad experience. So what do I do to create something that I can consult that isn't bad? I've got to manifest it through my imagination, through my vision. So what do? I create a vision in my mind. I can literally sit there and come up with something that I ain't never seen before, never experienced before, and I can manifest it in my mind. The moment I do, the brain said, look at what we're doing. Now I have a memory of something that I never physically done, but the brain can't tell me I haven't. Why is that important? Because now I have the confidence I can do it because I've already done it. But more importantly, when I did it at a level where my imagination was so vivid that my brain thought it was real, I also experienced it as if it was real. It created an emotional anchor. That emotional anchor is what's going to drive you. Our emotions play a role, not to tell us what to do, but to tell us something is something we want or something we don't. If we feel sadness, I don't want to experience this. What can I do to stop? If we feel anger, I don't want nobody making me angry. No situation make me angry. What can I do about it? That's what emotions, when you experience an emotion of something you're excited about, it says, this is the life I want to live. Guess what it tells the brain to do? Focus on all the things that gets me there. You got to remember, you have a subconscious mind that can process 4 billion bits of information per second, while your conscious mind can only process 2,000 bits of information. What do you think the drive of your behavior and your living is coming from right now? The things down in, you got to change that. You got to program. We're going to talk about all of those things in this event. On the 14th, we're going to delve into it, and I'm going to also let you come with your questions. If you have a dream about a job, dream about a career or starting a business, dream about your finances, dreaming about relationships, whatever, and you have this vision, but you wonder why I can't make it, we're going to sit down and I'm going to talk to you, and we're going to come to some breakthrough moments, and we're going to determine and understand exactly why something is happening in your life and why you haven't been able to change it. And there's absolutely nothing you can't change, except the things you believe you can't. The only limits you have in your life are the limits you accept in your mind. I want to get you to escape that, because that's where the reality happens. Now, this isn't magic, this is process. But I want to teach you that. We're going to talk about vision boards. We're going to talk about the vision must be plain and clear. We're going to talk about turning off the noise. What do you have? Turn the noise off. Anything that's not speaking to your elevation, turn it off. If it's friend, it's family, turn it off. I'm going to tell you something right now. One of the leading forces, one of the leading causes of people not achieving the things they want in their life is listening to family and friends. I'm just going to keep it real to you, because and most of the time they're not doing it because they don't like you. They're not doing it. They're doing it because they think you done stepped outside of what's safe. They doing it because they think you done lost your mind. You're about to go out there and do something and you're going to lose it all. You're about to go out there and everybody's going to laugh at you. You're going to go out there and embarrass the family. That's what they're thinking about. But you're out there about to do something exceptional. You're about to do something phenomenal. You got to get in a space where the people that you are around want you to succeed. The people you're around have succeeded. You got to have people that can speak into you in a way that you can feel the power and the force, but you got to know that you can. All of this stuff. We're going to talk about crushing limiting beliefs. The idea that I can't. Do you realize that you are harnessing yourself with old paradigms? You're harnessing yourself with old ideas about what works and what doesn't. You're harnessing yourself. What if Orville and Wilbur Wright would have stood up and said, man, haven't nobody ever told you you can't fly? You can't build nothing to fly. Birds fly. We walk and we ride. It's that simple. But sit up and say, no, if I can see it in my mind, that's God's evidence that it's possible. See, God, in the benevolence, in the way that I see the God of the universe, is that God has a purpose for his creation. And in this purpose, it's to do something grand. It's to do something great. So God is never looking for a way to crush you. Now, different situations and circumstances come. God is looking for a way to elevate you. And the one thing that a God that's trying to elevate you wouldn't do was give you the ability to desire something in your mind that you can never have. That is little torture. To want something you can never have is torture. But God didn't. God said, if you can see it in your mind, that's my evidence telling you it's possible. That's me saying, go for it. That's me saying, I built you for that. If you can conjure it in your mind, reach for it. You can't, if you don't reach for it, you can't touch it. That's why so many people fail to touch a dream. They live their entire lives and never touch a dream. They just coast through, doing what everybody else does, saying what everybody else says, believing what everybody else believes, and never step out. I said this earlier today to somebody. Look, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So if I can see it, I don't even need faith to operate. I just need action. I need to apply action. I need to go. It's when I am unable to see how, but believe it in a way that moves me. Not just say I believe it and sit back. Say, God, do something. No. The moment that my faith is activated, I'm already taking steps. You know how many times I've taken steps on something that I didn't have the first answer to what the next step was going to be? But that's when the gates of providence open. So many people are waiting on the answer on what to do, and they don't understand it's behind the first step. Well, what if I do this? What if I do hire Dr. Wallace? You've got to take the first step. It's not going to be laid out for you. That's not faith. You can do some great things without it. You can sit up and say XYZ is going to get me here and do XYZ and you'll get there. But the things that stretch the mind, the things that stretch the imagination are going to require you to step out beyond what you can see, beyond what makes sense to the average person, because you're not trying to be average. Now, we're going to talk about the psychology of success, crushing limiting beliefs, reprogramming your mind for success. That's so important. Then we're going to talk about your personal plan. We're going to talk about how you need to assess where you are now, determine where you need to be in order to have what it is you desire to have. We're going to create a plan of action. Action is the magic word. Action is the thing that says, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have this, and then you do something. You know what? You can even do something wrong and get further than you can doing nothing. You can make a mistake, but you created movement. The universe now knows you mean business. You have just put the entire universe on notice that I'm willing to bump my head to get this thing. I'm willing to knock down. I'm willing to look bad in front of people. That's another thing we've got a problem with. We don't want to look bad. So we never start nothing new. We stay in the little mediocre, minuscule places that we've mastered. And there's a whole universe waiting on us to examine it. But we won't go there because we don't want to look bad. We don't want to look stupid. You know how many places I've delved into before I mastered it and was the dumbest person in the room? I seek out to be the person who knows the least in the space. Why? Because I'm about to grow. That's the problem. We don't want to connect. The reason I mentioned this earlier, the reason I hired and paid for that program with Tony Robbins, the reason I paid for that program with Les Brown, because they've been places I hadn't been. They've done things with their business I hadn't done. And I'm not going to sit there and say, well, I'll figure it out. They're sitting there saying, let me show you. And you've got tons and tons of people say, I work with them and this happened for me. At some point, you're going to have to find somebody that opens the gate. Maybe you're lucky enough to find a mentor that's free. I've had that happen too. Matter of fact, my business career got off with a person sitting next to me at the bar, starts a conversation. The next thing you know, this guy's teaching me stuff. That happens. But I'm going to tell you why that happened. It's because I was already moving. By the time that person came to me, I had already approached 12 people about starting a business. And those 12 people didn't want to have nothing to do with me because a lot of people see people who want to tap into them as competitors. And if they see you as a competitor, they're so worried about you beating them, they can't see the benefit of sewing into you. So they move on. This person, I didn't have to ask. He talked to me, and there was something about my energy. There was something about my resolve. There was something. It's almost like when he started asking me about it, I was already talking, like expecting him to sit up and say, you know what, you'll figure it out. So I'm talking like it. Whether you pour into me, sir, or not, I'm going to get it. And you know what? This person put me down on the basics of business, the basics and understanding of what a business is, the basics of understanding. He says, what you need to be able to do, you can always take money and invest in other business. You can buy into a business and you'll have it. He says, but the thing you want to know is you want to learn how to start a business from scratch, because if you do, you'll never be broke. You might have a cash flow issue, but you're going to always have a newer outcome because you can start over. You can rebuild. You can create something from nothing just using this. And he's taught me, and it has come to my rescue many times. And I teach it to my clients, and I want to teach it to as many that go. But for those of you who are sitting up and saying, man, I wish I could get that special that he has. For those who missed it, there's go on Facebook or YouTube on my profile, or Facebook on my profile, YouTube on my channel on the Black Voice, and you'll see where I made an offer this morning where I will give you a 50% rebate if you buy the bronze package and complete the package, meaning you go all 12 sessions, you'll get a 50% rebate, meaning you'll pay half for it and get you end up paying half, or you can apply that half to another 12 sessions. But either way, that a lot of people saying, well, I don't have that. This program that I'm doing, this event that I'm doing is $99. 2.5 hours. An hour with me is $450. I'm giving you 2.5 hours for $99. I'm going to break down step by step how you get started, how you change your life, how you get out of a rut, how do you get moving. If you get moving, so many things are going to change. The problem is we're waiting on change before we move. The change is waiting on you to move. The universe will respond to your movement. God designed this universe, guess what? To respond to your expectations. But if you truly have expectations, guess what follows expectations? Action. If I believe something is going to happen, I start to move toward it. The moment you start to move toward the thing you believe in, the universe has no alternative. But the universe cannot deny faith. The universe cannot resist faith. God has to meet you at the level of your expectations. The problem is a bunch of us are expecting the worst. A bunch of us are expecting to fail. A bunch of us are expecting to spend the rest of our lives in the same situation we're in, with a small variation to the right or to the left or to the front or to the back. Sometimes better than others, sometimes worse than others, but this is pretty much why. And you don't understand, you have the ability to create and manifest a life for yourself that's beyond measure. This isn't about selfishness, this is about service. So when you're manifesting the intent that you have, what are you going to do with it? It don't mean get. For instance, if your desire is to get rich, it don't mean get rich and go give it away. It means empower people through your wealth. You don't have to give your money away to empower people. You can set up situations that people can move into. But it opens the door for you to be able to reach people you couldn't reach. There'll be people when you become wealthy that will listen to you that would not have listened to you before you. That's just the way people are built. You tell a person, I have some financial advice for you. They looking at what kind of car you drive, what kind of shoes you wearing, what kind of watch you got on, what house you live in, how big is your house? My thing is, what if I just talked to a billionaire down the street and he shares something with me and I'm trying to share it with you? We've got to get out of that entire mindset about sitting up. You don't know something, but you're going to qualify the person who knows it before you. Not true enough. You don't need to just accept anything that people come along, but we've got to be understanding and know that growth comes through exposure. That's why I told you, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. And I had someone ask me this probably a couple of months ago. Says, with everything that you've mastered, with everything that you've gone through, with everything that you have accomplished, I know that your philosophy is never to be the smartest person in the room. So my question is, are you finding it increasingly more difficult not to be? And I said, it depends on how you look at it. If you're looking at on the sense of pure scale of knowledge, yeah, it's harder to find people who have spent as much years as I have studying and reading and doing research and all that, but I don't know everything, not even close to it. So I'm always in the space with someone that knows something I don't know, if they're 12 years old. So I may be I may be in a room where I'm smarter than a person in psychology or in behavior or in quantum reality and in neuro-linguistics program, neuroassociative conditioning, all that crap, that stuff there. I'm saying crap, but it has blessed me and it has made me a living and it helps me bless others. But I'm just saying, the world is so much bigger than that. You know, somebody's in there and they can talk about swimming. They can talk about smiling. They can talk about what it's like to live in XYZ. And there's so many things to learn. There's so many things to be blessed. The problem is we get in a room, we want to show we're smarter. And so we never get to know what anyone else knows. I want to get in the room and find out what everybody else knows. And everybody tell me, like, whenever I go into a new space, like when I first started going to the cigar shop that I go to now, everybody says, all he does is he sits there and he doesn't say anything. I'm observing, I'm paying attention. I'm literally gleaning. I'm learning how people think. I'm learning how they move. I'm also paying attention to who I want to be around me and who I don't, who I'll associate with and who I won't. I'm learning all of that. I'm not just going to rush in. I'm paying attention. And then when they finally get me to talk, everybody's, oh my God, now here comes everybody. And I'm cool with that because I've already received from you. But the bottom line is you've got to be prepared to go in and receive this. I'm only accepting 50 people. And the reason I'm only accepting 50 people is because I want everybody to have an opportunity to present their case, to sit up and say, hey, this is what I've been trying to do. And this is what's been happening, because I want to help you. And also, I'm going to give everybody a complimentary session with me. after that. We're going to book it. Now, it may take a while because we're talking about 50 people, but we're going to book sessions. And I'm going to clear enough of my calendar to do this. So everybody gets a session after this to sit down with me, to talk to me. You can't beat that. Again, a session with me is $450. You're going to get 2.5 hours with me and an additional hour by yourself with me for $99. Again, I'm only accepting the first 50 people. The link is in the description box, the whatever box you're watching on whatever channel and platform, because I'm streaming on multiple platforms right now. But I want to really work with you. I would love to work with you one-on-one, but if you can't afford to work with me one-on-one, you got to get started some kind of way. I want to be the person that opens that gate and shows you what's on the other side of it so that you can walk into it. On that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out here. As I always say, I live my life on full. Why? Because I don't want to leave this world taking anything with me. As Miles Monroe, as Dr. Miles Monroe put it, the graveyard is the richest place on the planet. So much unfulfilled potential went to the grave. Books not written, businesses not started, alliances not created, inventions not created, so many other things that people took to the grave because they refused to live in their purpose, live within the fullness of their design. They chose to meander through the maze of mediocrity because everybody else was doing it and they thought it was safe. I've gone to the bedside of people to help them deal with transitioning, both as a minister when I was operating in that and as a psychologist. And what I can tell you is there are basically 3 types of people who realize they're at the cusp of transitioning. There is the person who's done everything that they think they could do in their life. They have, some decisions they made they weren't happy with, but overall they've gone out and they've done things and they have this sense of fulfillment and peace. You can look in their eyes, there's no fear. They're looking in and it's almost like, hey, I made it. Then there's a person that's kind of lost. They're trying to figure it all out. They don't know what's going on. They're between fear and trying to accept it and trying to come to grips with it. And they're all over the place. They need somebody to bring them in and settle them. Then there's a person with regret. The person with regret, the fear, you can just see it in their eyes. The pupils are dilated. They are literally afraid. And you can't always understand what they're afraid of, but the number one, they have regret, number one. Number two, they're wondering what the conversation with God is going to go like because they didn't do what they were supposed to when they were here. They're wondering about how their family is going to do without them because they didn't really do a good job in preparing their family to be without them, and so many more things that they have. The thing is, you want to wake up every day and live your. That's why I say I live my life on full. Because I want to wake up every day and live it in a way that if today is my last day, I'm good. I don't want it to be my last day. I don't want this year to be my last year. But if it is, have I written a narrative and a story that will speak well of me after I'm gone? Now, I'm not perfect, so it won't speak perfectly, but will it speak well? Have I touched lives? Have I changed lives? Have I helped people? Have I made the world around me better? And I know I've given myself to that. I want to challenge you to do the same thing. So if you can't work with me in a one-on-one capacity, sign up for this 2.5-hour event on the 14th. And you're going to get another hour with me and all for $99. You cannot possibly beat that in any way. A session with me alone will blow your mind. And I'm not just saying that, I'm telling you what I hear from my clients. I got clients I've done, we are on our second or third platinum session. So we're anywhere from 75 to over 100 sessions in. And they're still going, oh my God, I can't believe, man, wow. I never saw that. That's because it's always somewhere to go. You never arrive. And that's the beauty of life. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to be going somewhere that I didn't touch today. That's the beauty of it. But you got to get your mindset on it. On that note, look, I'm going to get out of here. I'm expecting to see you guys sign up. Let's make it happen. The link is in the description box. On that note, I'm going to check out here, you guys. Take care.